Well, Iran is blaming Israel for what appears to be a cyber attack on an Iranian nuclear site. Tehran says no one was hurt and there were no leaks when a blackout happened at the underground nuclear facility. It came just hours after Iran activated new advanced centrifuges at the Nantes site, an important step towards making enriched uranium. Well, Iran's foreign minister is vowing revenge against Israel for the attack. Israel has not officially confirmed or denied that it was behind the incident. Well, I want to bring in Hadas in Jerusalem for more details on all of this. Hadas, good to have you with us. So just give us a sense of what Israeli leaders and the media there are saying about any potential involvement in this incident.
Yeah, Lynda, Iran may be pointing the finger directly at Israel, but Israel is not officially commenting as of yet on what happened. However, we have seen some possible hints in the last 24 hours. Israeli media, for their part, are citing unnamed sources saying that it was the Israeli Mossad agency behind this attack. And we've seen some comments from Israeli officials that seem to hint at some sort of involvement. Just hours after the incident, the Israeli army chief Aviv Kochavi said Israel's operations throughout the Middle East are not hidden from the eyes of the enemy. And Prime Minister Netanyahu just yesterday spoke about Iran, saying that the struggle against Iran and its proxies and the Iranian armament efforts is a huge mission. He said the situation that exists today will not necessarily be the situation that will exist tomorrow. So while no official statement or of any kind that we've seen yet, we do have to look at these comments of the last 24 hours and take them into account.
Absolutely. And of course, the U.S. Defense Secretary is visiting Israel right now, the highest ranked official from the Biden administration to make that visit. And I understand he and Benjamin Netanyahu have just released a joint statement. What have they had to say?
Well, Lynda, it was actually a joint statement made in front of the media, not exactly a press conference because they took no questions. However, they did speak to cameras, and although the defense secretary did not actually mention Iran by name, Benjamin Netanyahu did say, he said that both he and the secretary know the horrors of war and both understand the importance of preventing war, and both agree Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. However, Netanyahu did not directly address this this incident in Iran at the nuclear facility. He just spoke generally about the threat from Iran and the agreement with the U.S. that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. But it was notable that the Defense Secretary Austin, he did not mention Iran at all by name. However, Defense Secretary Austin was asked earlier today by reporters that were traveling with him about this incident. All he said was that in terms of the efforts to engage with Iran diplomatically to get back to the Iran nuclear deal, he said those efforts will continue. He was asked if the incident at the nuclear facility would be any sort of impediment to that deal, and all he says that he will continue to focus on doing what the president is trying to achieve. Now, President Biden's administration is trying to achieve some sort of return to any sort of Iran nuclear deal from 2015, but Israel has vehemently opposed any sort of return to a 2015-style Iran nuclear deal. They say that it will simply give Iran the green light to get nuclear weapons, and that's why they are so against it. But talks are ongoing. They're supposed to continue in Vienna between a group of a U.S.-led group of world powers and Iran. Some of these talks are sort of indirect, ongoing in Vienna right now. What will be interesting to see is whether this incident that just happened in the last day will have any sort of effect on those talks. And of course, we will continue to see this sort of war of words, perhaps, between Iran and Israel continue.
All right, Hadas for us in Jerusalem. We will stay in touch as this story develops. Thanks so much.